All right, welcome back. Episode number 2, week number 2 of the Talkin College show. Joined yet again by my fantastic co-hosts. We got Lauren all the way from Florida and Sammo from the UK. UK Sammo, as he's Sammo. I'm going to ask: is your name, is it Sam, or just you've gone with Sammo to distinguish yourself?
My name's Sam Morgan, and people used to call me Sammo. So it's that old Morgs. It all comes from football.
So yeah, the MO is already there. The extra MO
Yeah.
is already there. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
And Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm on Thanksgiving break here because we have the entire week off.
Yes,
so
of course.
In Florida, like I was showing you guys the other day, like I was at the beach on Monday, and it was very nice. It's a good Thanksgiving break as a Floridian. I get it.
The weather. I mean, in Ireland and the UK, it's just grey. Like you wake up at 8 a.m., it's grey. It's dark at 4 p.m., still grey. It's just dark grey all day. I cannot believe there's parts of the world in November that get that kind of weather. It's just ridiculous.
It's so awesome.
I don't know why we're here. I don't know why we're here during this time.
It's miserable, man. It's absolutely miserable. Any college football on Thanksgiving, or is it always just a league thing?
It's always, NFL is just going to be more prominent. I mean, the Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving is like the known game that always happens. So like college they're not going to really put that in when they know that they have a Cowboys game and they have the, NFL games on Thanksgiving that play every single year. So it's not on the forefront whatsoever.
It's still big on this Saturday though, right? We've got rivalry week as everyone probably looks at. So some big games to talk about, right?
Yeah. So NFL, it takes up Thanksgiving, but the second that, dinner's done and that last game is done, we're looking at rivalry week already. I mean, I'm already looking at rivalry week. I'm going to watch the games tomorrow, but I'm going to be like, which quarterback do I want to put in my parlay?
Is that before, like, you got to do your Black Friday shopping first though, right, Lauren? Because you guys go crazy.
It's a scam now. And I stand by that. Black Friday for me right now, I'm shopping for a coach instead of a coach. So it's the first here.
Well, enjoy that shopping. I mean, nobody really wants to go to Florida right now. Like, let's be real. I mean, like, absolutely thrashed by Tennessee, 31-0 at halftime. Like, talk about lucrative jobs and talk about jobs that are not very lucrative. The Florida one right now, I mean, are you guys in a position to attract real, like, top level coaches?
100%. I could talk about this all day. So like, if this is where we want to go, I could talk about coaching at Florida all day because LSU like would seemingly look like the better job if we were talking about Lane Kiffin, who's the hottest person on the market right now. Like, who wouldn't want Lane Kiffin? I know I want Lane Kiffin. I have Lane Kiffin shirt. I have Lane Kiffin pins. I was campaigning when I was in Oxford, actually. And obviously, like, it kind of looks like the better coaching position, but like they have no coach. They have no athletic director. The governor is running everything that goes on with LSU athletics right now. Who really wants to sign a coaching job where you're being told what you can and can't do from the governor of Louisiana is my thing. And the expectation that they hold at LSU is you win a national championship the first year that you're there or you're done. Like, that's just like how it goes. Like, their former national championship coach had to leave when he didn't do it 2 years in a row. They fired him. Like, and then they brought him.
How much money has he made? How much money has he made out of that? That's not,
I don't know. I mean, LSU claims to have all of this money, but that's the whole thing is like they're throwing out all of these numbers to try to bring Lane Kiffin in, but they're just trying to distract themselves from the fact that they still have to buy out Brian Kelly. And now they're trying to take all of the attention off the fact that they're suing Brian Kelly. So, take it with a grain of salt. Like, LSU is the big name out there, but I think that Florida's not. I mean, I think that the decision has not been made yet. Personally, I'm getting a lot of reports. I'm hearing a lot of things that he sold his house. He's bought one in Baton Rouge, whatever. Who wants to live in Louisiana? In my opinion, Louisiana over a palm tree in Florida, that's stupid.
Well, like, speaking of numbers, the report I read, 7 years, $98 million. Now,
can
I'd
pull that
say
out.
if you're buying a house in Baton Rouge with $98 million, what's 10, 12, 50 million a year, you could probably buy a pretty nice house with that. I mean, regardless of the state, let's be real.
We'll give him the same amount of money. The big thing right now is that they're saying that they'll give him like 20 million or 30 million in NIL money. Like, Florida's prepared to do the exact same thing, and we only had to pay our coach out $20 million versus they're paying out Brian Kelly a lot more, double that, like over double that. They have to give Brian Kelly so much money. That's why they're trying to sue him, because they can't afford to bring in Lane Kiffin and pay out Brian Kelly.
How long?
20 million.
How long, Lauren, do you think he would need to win a championship at LSU opposed to in Florida?
Well, the thing is that the talent from high schools in Florida is a lot better than talent in Louisiana. The difference is that there's Florida State and there's Miami in Florida. And so there's other recruits that the coach has to think about versus in LSU. Like, where else are you going to play in Louisiana other than LSU? Like, what, you want to go play at Tulane? I mean, I guess you could go play for a G5 team and John Summerall. I mean, you do you. They're in the playoffs allegedly, like right now. I mean, they're not, whatever. But I mean, the difference is that Lane Kiffin would probably need, with the recruits that are already there, and it kind of depends on if Florida recruits saw that Lane Kiffin was their next coach, they're going to choose Florida over these other schools. Same thing goes for LSU. If they saw that LSU, Lane Kiffin was their next coach, then they're going to choose LSU. So recruits and the transfer portal and, the high schoolers that are coming in and everything, like they could get another Jeremiah Smith in there if they wanted to, because seeing that you're going to be coached from someone like Lane Kiffin, they're going to want to go be a part of that program. So it kind of differs with the talent that LSU already has and the talent that Florida already has. The thing is that Florida has a hurt roster right now. LSU doesn't, but they have a lot of guys graduating, a lot of guys that can go into the portal. But it kind of depends on like which school he would go to. I think with Florida, he could have a 10-win season in his first 2 years. Versus LSU, I think he could probably do the same, but the talent is different on both sides. Florida has a lot of talent on the offensive side that didn't get to get utilized because they got hurt, or they got hurt after Billy Napier was finally gone on October 19th. No more Napier Day, that I like to call it. Versus LSU has a lot of talent on both sides, but right now the quarterback situation on both teams is not looking good. So it depends if he can bring guys with him. It depends who he can recruit once they find out that it's him. But I think with both teams, it could take like maybe 2 years. It just depends the talent that decides to stay and decides to come once they find out that Lane Kiffin is their next head coach.
Is there belief in
trees?
Is there belief in Florida right now, from what you might think, maybe within the school or within the grapevine, that like, is DJ Lagway, like, is he the guy in Florida, or are they thinking about maybe bringing someone else in?
No, and a lot of people, including myself, tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, even after that LSU game with 5 interceptions. And Billy Napier should have put Tramel Jones in way, way, way sooner, and he never did because he's stupid. But when it comes to like quarterback situation, a lot of people have started to give up on DJ. I mean, they're giving him so much money to produce wins and be a good quarterback, and he's not doing it. And it's not like they're not giving him the utilities and the means of being able to be a great quarterback. But I stand firm in the fact that it takes someone super talented and someone so unique as Billy Napier to take a 5-star quarterback from Texas and turn him into the, without trying to completely tear down his name, the bad quarterback that he has turned into. I mean, if you're a 5-star coming out of Texas, you're expected to be a Heisman winner in 3 years. Not a 3-8 team.
I think that's the big issue now, though. You got previously where these lads weren't getting paid, doing it for development and the means to get to the NFL or have a great education potentially. Now there's so much money on the line. These programs, these coaches are spending probably less time developing these players because they need to win with this money, which I think is one of the biggest problems for me at this stage, because like you just said there, they're paying him a hell of a lot of money to be a top QB. If he's not there, it's like, move you on and we'll pay someone else. That's not, for me, what college football should necessarily be about. Yes, you want winning programs. You want that whole atmosphere, fans coming in and cheering their team to win. But this is also an educational piece on and off the field. And I don't think they're going to get that as much as they probably did in the past.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, when you consider that fact of how much money they're giving a player to come and produce a win, it's like you're saying. I mean, if you're not able to do that, then they just take you and move you somewhere else. They don't give you a lot of time to really develop. But the thing is that DJ, at least for Florida's sake, like in this situation, like he was hurt most of the offseason. Like whether it was his shoulder, or it was his knee, or it was his, abdomen, like there was always something wrong with him. Like there was something wrong with his leg, his arm, his whatever. And so he didn't practice a lot in the offseason while all of these other quarterbacks did. And the other difference is that last season he came out and it was like DJ Lagway, and they didn't have all of this film on him that they do now. So they could prepare for what he was going to do. That's why they're trying to have him run so much now, because he never did that before, because Billy Napier put him in a little bubble because he was scared he was going to get hurt. And now look, he's running and he's making all of these great plays, but they're starting to anticipate him more because they have more film on him. So it becomes difficult in that sense. But like you look at every other quarterback, they have film on them from years before and they're able to produce a win. I mean, I get it with DJ a little bit. No one's ever open right now because all of our wide receivers are hurt. But even so, like a good quarterback should be able to still read the field. And for me, I have not seen that from him in so long. Like at one point, if your coach gives you a play, you produce the play. You have to do what you have to do to try to make sure that it's successful and that you have a pass completed. He doesn't do that. And he doesn't read his field. He doesn't see who's open. He doesn't try to do it for himself. Like that's what I'm trying to like say with more words, trying to make it sound less, is that like at some point, the leader that you're supposed to be as a quarterback is supposed to surpass whatever play your coach is giving you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not good times in Florida right now, losing by 20 points to their SEC rival Tennessee. We won't dive deeper into that one. I mean, look, we're all Florida fans here. So.
Why not?
They were down 31-0 at halftime, but look, I mean, we don't have to go deeper down that track. Two other kind of noteworthy results coming out of last weekend, maybe two major storylines. One that I'm happy personally, Arch Manning, loads of pressure. I mean, there's been pressure on this guy since he was probably 15 or 16 throwing the football. Obviously, the second name carrying all the weight around American football in America and further around the world. Finally, maybe had a bit of a breakout game. He's under a lot of pressure. Texas is a major, major program. He was under a lot of pressure. Texas haven't had a great run of QBs. Quinn Ewers, like, I don't know. I mean, they haven't had, I think, great talent really at the quarterback position in the last couple of years. Arch Manning was given the Heisman Trophy before the season began, which is, I mean, ridiculous. But he came in, had a bit of a weak start, and he finally played some football and had a big win for Texas. Second player I want to mention, Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame running back. I'd love to see him a Heisman. We mentioned last week, Lauren, you said you don't think a non-quarterback will win the Heisman. Mendoza, is he still your favorite?
Oh, yeah, 100%. He's already won in my mind. Like, I understand that there's like people like Jeremiah Love, and I could even go as far as to say like Jeremiah Smith. I think you give him another year, he could probably be up for the running of, Heisman winner. But I don't see them giving it to another non-quarterback 2 years in a row. I just don't see that happening. Like it's been known as being like a quarterback award for so long. And, it's great that other players can win it because other players are deserving, but I don't see them doing that 2 years in a row. I just don't. And I honestly don't think that anyone other than Fernando Mendoza is quite honestly more deserving.
Yeah. It's hard to look past that. The Texas game was good though.
Yeah.
High scoring.
It was sort of back and forth as well at the start. Before they obviously then turned on the heat. I'll find a little shout out to ASU actually. That like Arizona State are going about their business slowly but surely as well. I think they might end up climbing those rankings as well. I think most of people, they're 25th at the moment or something like that. I think most people have them, but I think they're going to slowly climb. And I think they've got to do that work with the talk, obviously, as we know about Sam Levitt going as well. I think they need to do that work to keep attracting as many people as possible over to that team right now.
Definitely.
Yep. Also, their wide receiver Jordan Tyson being rumored as a potential top 5, top 10 draft pick. We'll see how that plays out over the next few months. But they do have a couple nice players, yeah, for sure.
He actually went into to see Sanders, didn't he? To say like apologies for the way he left.
Did he?
Leaving Colorado. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think he made his peace, but you never know. He might end up with his boy in the NFL. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna need people like him. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah, some good games though. But I guess for people that don't watch college football, want to get into college football, they will look at some of these scores, right, and be like, why do some teams even turn up? Like, because
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest difference between sort of college and NFL for me is when you see some of those scores, like 70-7. Like, why? Why? Just call it.
Yeah.
Should they not just be able to throw in a white towel and be like, look, we're done?
Where's the fun in that? Someone
Everyone
who's
getting
getting
the
the over is like extremely happy at that moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Think of all the gamblers, all the
Yeah.
gamblers that we need to satisfy at
Yeah.
that point.
That's what it's
Everyone's
for.
sitting on
Yeah.
hard rock like, oh my god, I knew it. They're happy.
But I guess that's what you end up in those situations where obviously in the NFL, for example, the weaker teams through the draft can get better. They can get a gem at the top of the draft and completely change the franchise. As we discussed kind of briefly last week, especially with NIL in college now, it's like the strong get stronger. The SEC schools, for example, and when you have a weekend, I mean, last weekend was a good example where you kind of the top 3, 4, 5 teams, at least in the playoff rankings, were kind of just playing almost. I mean, with respect to their opponents, almost just irrelevant games. They weren't any major matchups, walking wins. We've got 3 undefeated teams now at the top of the playoffs, and like when you have SEC programs with all that money, all the funding that those guys have, those players are, I mean, they're all just basically on a professional scale playing smaller schools. You do end up with massive kind of score lines, and I think just the players, like the standard of player, probably reflect that. Like those SEC schools are filled with future pros, future Hall of Famers, first overall draft picks, and the smaller schools just are kind of getting left behind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna be a given. That's gonna be a given, isn't it? Like, yeah, as soon as you start involving money, the powerhouses then obviously come in. But this is where I come back to my earlier point that those schools that maybe, okay, we're not going to get like those top recruits. Let's make sure we've got the best coaching staff to develop the next best. And that's where they got to rely probably on those sort of development skills probably a little bit more. And some players might need that. So I think that's where they got to get a little bit clever with their programs, use their money maybe into their facilities, find other ways to attract certain players, and whether it's a particular coach, as Lauren was saying earlier, that you might steer you to a particular place. That's probably what's needed. I mean, you do have to look at Colorado for that basis, right? Colorado was on the floor. No one wanted to go there. You bring in like this superstar as a head coach, and then obviously tries to develop the program a little bit more, and people kind of like, oh, actually, I wouldn't mind playing for him. They're still not going to win anything, but they're still actually able to develop some players, and then actually those players are probably, as I said, probably had the chance to now get in the NFL, whereas everywhere else they would have probably just faltered and sat by the wayside if they chosen a bigger program.
Yeah, that's where it's tough though. I mean, for me personally, like we're sitting at 3-8 and we have no coach, so I'm like, guys, we just bring a lot of tradition. You get to play in the swamp. Orange and blue is pretty cool, I guess. Other than that, there's like really nothing that I can like. The facilities and what you get when you play for the University of Florida is huge. But like you look at an established team like A&M and Georgia and all of those like big SEC schools. Like, I mean, Vanderbilt's been doing good, and I think Tennessee is still like a powerhouse football school, not because they just beat the crap out of us, but just I think that Joey Aguilar is a really, really good quarterback, and I think Josh Heupel is a really good coach. But there's a lot of already like established teams in the SEC. I would understand why Florida's not the first one that you want to look at. But when you have coaches and really good programs that you could just walk into and already have an established program, I would understand the appeal versus a team that's 3-8 with no coach.
Yeah,
it's tough.
So one thing we're looking to do, obviously, with this platform is to enlighten any listeners and new people into the game of college football in general. obviously we're trying to bring the game over here. We got 2 games coming up next year, the Aer Lingus Classic in Dublin and the Union Jack taking place in Wembley, which will be the first game in London. So obviously Lauren has amazing experience with the college game over there, attending all the Florida losses that they go through every year.
Ouch.
Wow, he dropped that. He was waiting to do that as well. Yeah, he was waiting for that one.
couldn't resist. Obviously, people may be familiar with the NFL game, right? We've had games in London and now games in Dublin, Madrid. They're you know, the NFL is expanding, but the college game and a college game day experience still might be a little bit new to people. So one thing we'd like to touch on is obviously what a college game day looks like. Whether you're a student, maybe you're working with the media, or even an older, maybe a past pupil of the university or whatever. You know, from the tailgating, which is different. Maybe they don't really do that over, you know, it's a little bit different with college students, a little bit wilder maybe. To the actual game experience, I've seen some crazy clips. I've personally never been to a game in America, a college game, of like fans storming a field, taking down goalposts. I think that got like banned, but
Yeah,
I've seen,
like, you don't do that now.
yeah, okay. Let's cut that part out then. To like after the kind of like the final whistle or whatever. So like, Lauren, maybe you could kind of enlighten us. What does it feel like if you're, you know, you're part of an SEC school, you've been part of that kind of atmosphere. Like, how does it differ to maybe attending an NFL game?
So I have seen just the passion be extremely different, especially because like in that moment, like you live and breathe the school that you go to, and winning or losing hurts or feels great 10 times more than, for me at least, like attending an NFL game, because you root for this team because your dad did, or you root for this team because you're from that city, and you know that's cool, represent your city, whatever. But like when you have a degree with your name on it from the school that you're rooting for, it just like it means a lot more. And you know, not to quote the SEC slogan, but it always means more when you're attending that school. Like the tailgates, for example, especially during rivalry week, like FSU in Florida, when they play, like there's police officers on the field, like surrounding the field, like the last like 10-ish minutes of the game to make sure that nobody storms the field. And I think that storming the field is embarrassing. Personally, it's almost like admitting that you thought you were going to lose. Like we don't do that. We don't storm the field. It's literally saying like, oh, we're so happy we won because we really thought that we were going to lose to this team. Like, come on, stand up.
Florida are better than that. Florida don't invade the
We're
pitch.
3-8 and you still won't storm the field. Like, come on. But it's like they will have police officers surrounded the last like 10-ish minutes to make sure you don't do that no matter what. But when it's FSU, they're there the whole time. They have them in the stands because FSU and Florida hate each other so much. The rivalry is so deep and so rich. And we might be on ESPN2 this weekend because of how bad both teams are. But it is still, in my opinion, one of the best rivalries to exist in college football. Like same as like the Egg Bowl or same as the Iron Bowl. It's just like the hatred goes so deep for that school because you love your school that much. Like you're so passionate about whether you win or lose, versus in the NFL, it's like, yeah, it sucks because maybe you lost some money on a bet, or like it sucks because you have the jersey on. But I've always felt that the loss or the win means more when you have more of a reason to root for that team, or you have more of a reason to devote your time and effort and the emotion that you pour into that game, because you're paying to root for that team. You're paying to go to school there. So obviously you want to see a win out of it, versus NFL, like you pay for your ticket and that's it. Versus college, you're paying your tuition and you're going to classes and you wear the logos, and like you take pride in your school. That's why you want to see them win and lose. Versus NFL, they lose and, you know, whatever, you're done. Like, I guess that sucks.
It's generational though as well. Like I think I noticed that when I was in Kansas, like, and it was obviously again Kansas State against KU as well, and it was the purple versus the blue, family versus family. Like you could just feel that tension instantly, and the nerves, like when it came to like those rivalry games. And like you said, your mum or dad went to the university, you're going, maybe even their parents went. Like it's insane. Like that's where it becomes like like you say, it matters that little bit more. Whereas I feel like NFL, it's your choice to choose that team, and you chose that team for one particular reason. Whereas you're almost given your college team. Like you're maybe by family, and it can't be anything else. Like your mum and dad are maybe paying for that tuition as well, so you're definitely going there, and you're going to root for them. It's in the blood. But you do feel that tension at these games. I was there I wasn't there as a neutral. I was going for KU at the end of the day. But for me, it was like, okay, never been to one before. Let me just try and soak this up. And it was just like the music, the bands. You can see everything being unloaded. Like you can see the sea of the different colors coming in from different directions of the ground. The tailgating, the smell of barbecue was just brilliant anyway as I'm walking up to it as well. But like then you got all the frat houses, all of the signs up, not even just on game day, leading up to the game day, right? The signs that are coming up. It's like, okay, this means something. And I think this is where, for me, the big difference between college and NFL is that you do feel that a little bit more. If you walk up to any NFL game, it's just game day, right? And win, lose, you walk down and it is what it is, few beers and you move on. Whereas college, you can see it hurts, that loss. And then the ones that obviously come away with that win, they're going to hold those bragging rights till the next time they meet each other. So it is a big difference.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's game day and it matters that day, but then, you don't really care leading up to it. It's like, but the day of, balls to the wall, like it's all that matters. But then when it's done, it's over. Versus like in college, like this is rivalry week. This is the week long of hating that team that you're going to play on Friday or Saturday. Like you spend you spend the entire year, your entire life hating that team. But this is the week that you devote to it, especially. And like, like you said, my mom went to UF. My mom was a Gator. I was raised a Gator. I really didn't think that I was going to get into the school. I didn't even apply out of high school because it's so hard to get into. I transferred in. I took the easy way out. But I always knew I wanted to go there, so I had to go this track to be able to do it. Like I grew up with this thing on my bed. Like I always knew that I wanted to go there, but it's kind of the route that you take to get there is also what makes it a little bit more meaningful for me, especially. I mean, just my cap and gown sitting right there. And I paid my way to go to school. I paid for my school. I paid for all my tuition, my rent, everything. So that's why for me too, like when I see the Gators lose, I'm like, God, I'm giving the school so much money. And I mean, thanks for the national championship in April. That was the best day of my life. But football, I'm sitting there with my camera and I'm watching us lose. And I'm like, I have to put this together. I have to put this film together. I have to watch the press conference after and hold back my tears. Like versus NFL, it's like, oh, we lost, it's done, whatever. With college, that loss sits with you or that win sits with you. It's like you said, you have bragging rights until the next time that they play. And that's why the Tennessee loss was so awful, because that was a record that we held for 22 years. Since 2003, they had not lost in the Swamp to Tennessee. Yeah. And now, because with how SEC permanent opponents work, the Vols won't be back in the Swamp until 2029. For another 4 years, we can't even get another shot at getting that record started again.
Oh, so they got 4 years of bragging rights. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. We have to hold this loss with us for 4 years. It hurts. It hurts.
Just touching on Sammo's point there, Sammo, you mentioned tailgating. Like, okay, so like just a few questions to give Irish and UK listeners a bit more context. Are a college, so like we see clips of the stadiums, like, and they're filled with college fans. Are college fans drunk at these games?
1,000%.
Okay.
No. Sorry, is that a question? Is
that just want to clear the air here? Like, people are drinking alcohol at the tailgates and then entering the stadium.
God. Yeah, especially in Florida. Like, there are so many students, like in my sorority, and there's people outside of, like, they've been drinking since 8 a.m. and that they're trying to sell off their ticket because they're blacked out by the game starts at noon.
Well, my game, the kickoff was 11 a.m. So I'm thinking maybe they'll be a bit more conservative of their drinking. Hell no. Hell no. Wow, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was just like, okay, yeah, no, these guys know how to do this. Like, it was absolutely insane.
Are popping at 8 a.m. Mimosas are flowing. Like, if you're not already drunk off of that champagne by the 11 a.m. kickoff, then you've evidently done it wrong.
Yeah, I think it was like 9:30. I saw people shotgunning beers. Yeah. So, like, I was like, okay, yeah, I know where this is going. Do you know what I mean? Like it was
That's just a
yeah.
regular Saturday in the Ville over here.
Yeah, I mean, and if you weren't, what happens after the game? Oh, jeez. It just then you're definitely for sure like
Yeah.
you don't know what day it is at that point.
And they continue drinking throughout the game. Like my friends had some front row seats this past game, and they were really upset with the way the game was going, obviously. And they had a tall boy of like the extra large cans of High Noon in their hand from beginning to end. Every time I went to go see them, it was a new full one in their hand. And they had also been drinking since noon.
In terms of like what fans get in the stadium, like they're served food, but are they also served alcohol inside?
Yeah, like you can buy alcohol inside.
Well, this ain't,
okay.
Yeah, this ain't like English football here. Like where you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
have a drink. I was sat with my little cozy like the whole time. I had my tall boy. We were good. 3 hours of just solid drinking in that time. Was on my best behaviour though. Just the first time I would like to get invited back. But you did see some stuff in the crowds, you know, like you could see like it was all going off in all different places. Not bad, but it was just more like you can see there's that tension. But yeah, definitely a lot of drink involved. Just good time though. Like it's yes, there's drink involved, but it's just that atmosphere. It creates that atmosphere. It's reason why you want to go because you've got entertainment on and off the field. The food is good. The food is always good as well. And as I said, I think it's just that build up of bringing the atmosphere that was outside of the stadium in. You know, that's I find that with any sport, you can have some really like the atmosphere outside is awesome. You have the ultras, you know, the big fans that will obviously be there, like trying to pump the crowd. And then you get into the stadium and it can fall flat. You don't get that with I didn't think you get that with college football purely because they bring it all in and it's stored in there and it gets elevated. I say with like things like the bands, the mascots, the chants. These teams all have their own chants as well to get things going, and some more extreme than others. So like for me, it was a bit like, okay, this means something, like because the level was just going like this, all the way up to the top, and it didn't end till probably like 5 a.m. for me. So that's pretty standard.
You had a good time.
Something you mentioned there, which actually I've noticed as well, definitely something very, very distinct watching college instead of NFL is as you said, the band inside the stadium. You'll see if the camera pans to the crowd, you'll see a massive section of the student section, and you'll see all the brass instruments, the drums, like everything, and you can hear through the commentators, through the cameras, you can hear all that audio, all the atmosphere created by, I mean, it's like a festival. It's like live music throughout the entire game. And I've never been to a game in Europe that has anything like that inside the stadium. A full band.
The band is insane. And like the tradition and like the chants that they do, like one of my favorites, and it's become pretty prominent in college football because it's like, it's not controversial, but it's almost like I think they're jealous of it, is when Florida's playing a team and they get a penalty, you know, say like they were offsides or something. The other team was offsides. And so our chant is "Move back, you suck." But it's like you have your hat and it's like "Move back, you suck." Like, and everyone chants that for like 30 seconds. It is the best cheer. Everybody loves it. The band is playing. Like it's so prominent now. And then if it's a full stadium, which this weekend for FSU is our 18th in a row sold out game, which means that there's 90,000 people chanting "Move back, you suck." And it's phenomenal. Like, it's like nothing I've ever seen. Ole Miss was really cool with some of their chants, but like nothing original. They're just singing songs, like whatever, with a pom-pom in their hand. We came up with our whole other thing.
And you got to have that though. I think like, yeah, so your own chants is brilliant. I think that's where people like in the UK can probably resonate a little bit more actually, because the college teams do have more of their own chants that I've noticed than NFL teams do. So if you're talking about like English football with all of our different chants for all the teams, you're going to get that sort of a little bit closer actually with college ball, I think in that respect as well. But man, even I say tailgating, looking at the tents that we were all in, some of them had like their own TVs, their games going on. It was just like all of it was awesome. The mascots are coming all the way through. By the way, they're they're a bit like, they love it. The mascots, by the way. I was just like, right, okay, you're not just the everyday like throwing around a little banner or something like that. They're on it, and they will, if they see like the opposing like fans as well, they're getting some stick. So it is pretty good. But I mean, as I said, I think like it's something that people do have to experience for themselves. Yeah, we're fortunate enough now. Obviously, like I said, you've got one in Ireland, obviously for you to look forward to. Obviously, the one now in the UK with the Union Jack Classic, with the Big 12. I think the Big 12 are trying to do everything they can to obviously make their conference bigger and bigger and try and get more people, sort of more eyes on it as well. So one day that they just overtake the Gators, which I'm sure will probably happen quite soon by the sounds of it as well, with the amount of wins that some of these are getting. But yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
Florida fans are really, really cool. And there's a lot of other schools that do a lot of random things. It's all about tradition, though. That's the greatest thing with football is that, like, yeah, the tailgates, like, I mean, I grew up going to USF tailgates, and my uncle had a TV, if not more, and there's the, the charcuterie board, and there's the food on this table, and there's drinks on this table, and then the TV's right here, and there's chairs everywhere, and then there's cornhole on one side, like there is games and there is camaraderie with the tailgating part of it. That's why college football is so awesome. It is so much fun. And I said this last week, but it's like everybody's friends before the game starts. So like if you're walking around, you need a drink or you need a snack, like anyone will offer it to you. You want to check in on the game, they'll show you and they'll, you get chatting up. But like once that game starts, once you're inside that stadium, if you're opposing, you are not friends anymore. When you're tailgating though, that's why it's so cool. Is like everybody's cool. Everybody's friends, whether you're in the SEC, whether you're in the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, it's like everyone will for the most part get along until you're in that stadium and all of a sudden you're out for their head.
You mentioned earlier, let's just use the Swamp for example. You 90,000. Out of that 90,000, okay, considering there's a lot of Florida passionate drunk college students or whatever, how many opposing fans in broad? Let's just use the SEC for example. How many opposing fans like would go to games? Is it like, is it thousands of students going to these games, or is it maybe a little like do students just prioritize the home games?
It definitely depends on the team. So there was a good amount of Tennessee fans there, but I think that's because the rivalry is pretty strong. Like the Tennessee and Florida rivalry is pretty prominent. There was a good amount of students there and like adults too, and like their band was there and everything. Their mascot, that dog, that hound, was like taking one of those blow up pool floaties of a gator and like smashing it and sitting on it. I was like, okay. And there was a good amount there. I mean, when I was in Oxford, there was a good amount of Florida fans there. So I think it definitely depends on the school, the distance it is for them. Like if you're a college student and you have the means to go and drive up or fly up, like if you have a friend that you can stay with, I think for the most part, it depends on the fan. It depends on the student. But like if they can, they will do it. Like they want to go watch their team. They want to go support their team. They want to go troll the other team and yell in their face and like tell them that they're going to lose or that they suck, or they want to steal their coach. If you're a Florida fan to an Oxford fan, like, it's, the students aren't all friends all the time. It's the adults who will have that camaraderie versus the students are like, they're trolling one another from beginning to end. Like that's like this whole week is like, we have posts going up about how much we hate FSU and like clowning FSU. Like FSU fans will come to this game because Tallahassee and UF aren't too far from each other, about 2-ish hours. And they will come up, and that's why there's cops everywhere, because they're worried that they're going to fight each other because they're just screaming in each other's face, all for the school that they attend. And it's amazing. It's beautiful. I love watching it. I love seeing fans screaming each other's face. That's what college football is all about.
Passion, lots of passion. So obviously, week 14, this coming weekend is what's commonly known as rivalry week. Traditionally, schools will play major rivals. Lauren, you love November football. You mentioned the major one in Florida, Florida and FSU. Another major one, Ohio State and Michigan. Now, this is, I mean, even from my own kind of, feeling of college football over here, this is a big one. Ohio State are a major name in college football, and this rivalry seems to be extremely tense. I guess also given the fact that Ohio State are currently the number one team in the rankings, undefeated, will they walk out of that game against Michigan with a win? You reckon?
I don't know. I mean, I was looking at the record today, and Michigan holds the record. The current streak is Michigan with 4. The overall record is 62-51 with 6 ties. But like, I don't know. I'd really love to see Ohio State go down. I love an underdog, and Michigan's not even that big of an underdog. And I would love, 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 love to see Michigan win. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I think that Jeremiah Smith is going to be able to do some really good things. And I think that Michigan is a really powerful team that can kind of come up from behind. If they did have to, they're good at being able to come back when they're losing. But it's going to be a really good game. I'm kind of shocked that it's a noon game. Out of all games that are going on Friday and Saturday, I'm shocked that the Michigan-Ohio State is at noon. But I don't know. I don't know if I really don't know. I'm kind of a jinx, so I don't want to say like Michigan's going to win and then Ohio State breaks their streak. But I would love to see Michigan take that win. But it's going to be a very, very competitive game. And I think it's been competitive for years. That's the reason it's a rivalry. But for some reason, there's something about this year because Ohio State needs that playoff spot. And not, them losing to Michigan wouldn't so much take that away, but they probably wouldn't be number 1 anymore if,
Indiana got Purdue as well, I think. So
A&M
I think
has to play Texas A&M is 3rd, and they have to play Texas.
Texas, yeah.
That's going to be another really good game.
Yeah.
I think it means a lot. I think obviously that our Ohio State game it's not just a rivalry. They can't lose like that number 1 spot. So it's twofold. So that might add even more pressure to their game as well. Whereas Michigan probably don't have the same amount of pressure as I said. I think to go and get that one, but no, I still think they get the win. I still think they get that.
You think
that
Ohio
win.
State does?
And I think Ohio get the win.
Julian saying looks great. Julian saying looks great, and I'm struggling to tell if it's like just a good quarterback in a great team or a great quarterback in a great team. Sometimes quarterbacks are aided by their offensive weapons, offensive line. I think he is legitimately a good quarterback, but it's tough to tell sometimes when you're in a very, very overpowered roster. But he looks. I mean, talk about Heisman candidates. He's certainly up there. He's had an incredible season.
The playbook suits him. Like I think, like the schemes that they've got for him work. Like I don't think it's so. Sometimes you can have all of the weapons. You can have the best defensive line. But at the end of the day, the play calling, if that's off, you don't actually get to see and showcase like a top QB as well. So I think they've got it right for him, obviously going into this year.
Yeah. Another noteworthy game, a personal favorite of mine, Alabama and Auburn. This is kind of one of the first, my own memories of college football. Obviously, Vince Young and Reggie Bush many, many, many years ago. But the famous kick six, there might be some European listeners familiar with this one. Auburn, Alabama, a very famous moment with a field goal that fell short, and the field goal was returned for a touchdown by Auburn. Probably one of the most iconic moments in college football history, a walk-off touchdown to win the game. Alabama against Auburn as well this weekend in rivalry week. So I'll be keeping an eye on that result for sure.
Yeah, I love the Iron Bowl. I love if it's not Florida State, I'm watching Alabama and Auburn. And I'm actually really glad that Florida's at 4:30 and that Iron Bowl is at 7:30 because that means I can watch it. I never see Auburn play harder football than when they are playing Alabama. And that's how it kind of looks with most rivalry games, is that you always play harder. You're playing for the name on your jersey. You're playing for that name on your back. You just want to beat that team so badly because it feels so much better. Like, for example, right now as a Florida fan, we're 3-8. It sucks. But if we beat Florida State, I don't care. It was a win. It was a win. It was a winning season for me. It's a losing season, but if we beat Florida State, it's fine. I don't even care. For me, it would be a 4-8 season, but it's still a winning season because we got rid of Billy Napier and we beat Florida State. So that to me wouldn't mean anything, but it's just Auburn and Alabama play each other so, so, so hard. And right now there's a lot of talk about Penn State trying to poach Kalen DeBoer from Alabama. And so that's kind of interesting. And then to see Ryan Williams go up against our Auburn for the second time. And like, you know, Ty Simpson is a great quarterback, and Auburn having lost their head coach this year, like, is that going to have to do with it? Like they're not going to have Hugh Freeze. Like it's going to be so good. I love this. The Iron Bowl is probably my favorite rivalry if it's not UF FSU, but it's always just so competitive. And that's why it's one of those that will always have a good slot on TV, and it's going to be the one that people will watch, whether you're an Auburn fan or an Alabama fan or neither. Like I will watch this game every year, and I don't care about either team. I don't like either team, but I love the rivalry of this game so much.
Yep. And I think, to be honest, like the way you just described that all those dynamics, all the kind of the different kind of moving chains, excuse the pun, but like within just two college teams, it's particularly a rivalry game, like, is really the magic of college football. And I think that's, you know, really what we're trying to do here, is like to encourage people to actually open up their minds that this whole ecosystem of college football is its own thing. It's not just a stepping stone to the league, or it's not just you know, a lesser version of the professional league. Like this whole college football system it's amazing. There's so many narratives every week, major storylines with players, coaches, teams, rivalries, everything. And I think well, I hope and I believe that we can really show actually some of that magic, you know, by covering the games and covering what's going to be happening throughout the season through this podcast. So that's the plan. But I think we can probably wrap it up there. Obviously, some things to look out for. We'll be looking out for the Florida result. I mean, I want to repeat. I might have to repeat this every week. Lauren has a lot of passion for Florida. This is not a Florida podcast.
I try to stay unbiased as much as I can.
This is the Talkin College show with a little bit of Gator blood, but that's just about it. And I think there's lots to look forward to. This is rivalry week, and certainly beyond this week, you know, you will see some upsets, and the college football playoff ranking with a couple of results, you will see some teams begin to solidify their place. Maybe teams who won't be being removed, for example, with some good results this weekend. So Lane Kiffin, obviously keeping an eye on him as well. And plenty more. And that's what we're here to do, is to encourage people to tune into these games and tune into these storylines, because there's just absolutely so much going on every week at the stadiums, at the tailgates, as you said, even between fans as well, just kind of the camaraderie and the connections that they make. So I think that's pretty solid episode 2. If any of you guys have any concluding notes you want to include there?
I'm good.
No, I think we'll leave it there, and we'll come back to probably another loss for the Gators. But it's okay, Lauren. We're here to comfort you next week.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, guys. Episode 2 is in the books, and let's hope the Florida Gators win this weekend. All right, guys. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Nice one.